ROG Flow X13, gaming plus convertible. I've never seen these two terms used in the same sentence before, and to be honest, I never thought that it would be possible. But it's never too late, right? Video games are part of our daily routine, and everything around us turned gradually into something gaming related. Monitor, mouse, headphones, keyboard, mousepad, microphone, webcam, phone, TV, chair, desk, glass. Everything went full gaming, so why wouldn't a 2-in-1 convertible be part of a gaming setup as well? And regarding design and ergonomics, is it a laptop? Is it a tablet? Is it a PC? Oh yeah, different scenarios. Without taking it too seriously, we kept wondering, what's the real use of this 2-in-1? As a laptop, ROG Flow X13 makes for an excellent ultra-portable. We're talking about a really thin 13-inch laptop with a thickness of just 15.8mm and a more or less light chassis. 1.3 kilograms exceeded our expectations. You have to hold it to feel the actual weight. To be honest, the extra weight is due to a generous battery, 62 watt-hours, but also because of the protective Corning Gorilla Glass covering the touchscreen. I expected the feel of metal upon touching it. Instead, I came across a highly textured, practical and sleek plastic, which boasts a firm grip suitable for transportation. On top of that, this material is also armed against fingerprints. As a really tiny laptop, I appreciated the edge-to-edge keyboard, designed to maximize the gap between the keys without reducing their size. And this usually comes as a solid challenge for that much-sought lateral connectivity. Asus really prides itself, arguing that this keyboard has the size of a standard 15-inch laptop keyboard. I was taken by surprise upon discovering such a long keystroke, 1.7mm. And if you take the thickness of the chassis into account, this is really noteworthy. Those wishing for keys that offer stronger feedback will be glad to take Flow X13 for a ride. The power switch on the edge can be a bit weird at first, but it is a standard part of 2-in-1 models. Besides, it also sports an integrated fingerprint sensor for a quick unlock, just like a smartphone. Our test model comes with a 120Hz sharp panel, sharp like in Sharp the company, but also like in sharp enough. Eventually, a 4K 60Hz wide gamut sRGB 113% version will be available as well. Ours has a great contrast ratio and its color accuracy isn't bad either. On the contrary, see it for yourself. I would insist on not brushing the numbers aside. Once you set a good amount of brightness, let's say 350 nits, you get a really nice touch of black of only 0.21. Now, although I doubt you will ever embark upon complex image and video editing on this wee little display, rest assured, for this one is a reliable traveling companion. I've never been a fan of these models, but let's be honest, these ones are in a league of their own in terms of low temperatures. The flare sensor is the most credible witness. The temperature of the inferior part of the laptop drastically drops once you switch on tent mode, good both for watching movies and gaming, as shown here. And that's because both tent and stand modes offer the fans the luxury of better managing the airflow. Asus indicates that in this way the temperature drops by almost 8 degrees, but they don't mention where. On the CPU, on the chassis. Well, it's worth mentioning that the CPU tests showed a drop from over 50 to 46 degrees Celsius on the back of the chassis in just 2 minutes after switching to tent mode. Yep, we owe one to Asus. As you can see here, before we got the chance to record the first value, the surface already reached 49 degrees Celsius. In less than 2 minutes, it already dropped to 46 and kept on lowering until it stabilized at around 43-45 degrees Celsius more or less. The external GPU dock, also known as eGPU, have come a long way since its birth. Let me give you some names: XG Station 1 and 2. The later one was an absolute beast with tiny G20 vibes. Razer Core V1, V2, X, X Chroma, Aorus Gaming Box, and so on. Even less known developers focused on this kind of tech. But the flaw of these eGPUs was the lack of compatibility. To be more specific, not all eGPUs worked or were detected by all laptops, even if these laptops did come with a Thunderbolt port. Having this port was believed to offer extended compatibility, but things didn't go our way. Drivers and BIOS issues, stuff like that. Sad. ROG XG Mobile does not rely on Thunderbolt 4, the latest version of the Thunderbolt interface. If we are to do the math, we can easily understand why Asus gave up on Thunderbolt 4. XG Mobile connects to the laptop through a customized PCI Express 3.0 X8 interface, so it's 1.5 times faster, meaning the 8 lanes of the PCI Express 3.0 encompass a 63 gig per second bandwidth compared to the Thunderbolt 4 and its 40 gig. Since XG Mobile eDocks are not actually suited for desktop, obviously, and what we have here is a much faster personalized proprietary Asus interface. That GPU hidden in that tiny 1 kilogram shell will never be slowed down by all external cables. It really does have an impressive size, 155 with 208 with 29mm. It almost makes you want to shove it in your backpack. Almost. Speaking of cables, goddammit Asus, why did you have to give such a short cable? Not even 50 centimeters. This one is just 41 centimeter. Even XG Station Pro used to come with a 1.5 meters Thunderbolt 3 one. And man, this really bothers me. Of all the elements that make the setup, this brick had to be the loudest one. If I had a longer cable, I know PCI Express and Thunderbolt are different things, but still, I could have thrown this box further in the back, or some shelf over a pile of socks or something. And so I could have had the most silent gaming session ever, on a hacking laptop. Of course, you can always use headphones, so you won't be bothered anymore. But do I need to remind about last year's gaming laptops and their 50 decibels once you crank them up? It's only at the end of last year that all companies seem to improve the fan design so the noise won't get past 44-46 decibels. These numbers are much more decent for a laptop, but at the cost of performance, obviously. Back to our tiny XG Mobile. Technologically speaking, it's marvelous. This one is basically a hub with 4 USB Type-A 3.2 Gen 1 ports, 1 standard SD slot, 1 gigabit Ethernet port, 1 DisplayPort 1.4 and 1 HDMI 2.0A for an external monitor. On top of that, if you charge it using a 280 watts power brick, XG Mobile also charges the laptop. Along with PCI Express, XG features a Type-C port integrated within the proprietary connector and designed for charging. Back to what I said earlier, ROG Flow X13 can in fact be used as a PC. You basically turn the laptop into a desktop PC. The big edge is that XG Mobile deactivates both GPUs once hooked up to the laptop. You can activate the eDock through the XG Mobile app, and the switch between video cards is done through ROG Armory. This means less heat, and the cooling system has to make sure only the CPU isn't getting too hot, and that's all. Furthermore, because of the laptop's build, the lid can be closed without raising the temperature. The grill rests on the bottom of the laptop and the evac flaps are placed on the back and on the right edge, so the area above the keyboard has nothing to do with cooling. The new AMD processors are here, and boy, they really pack a punch. Our test subject is a 5900HS with 35 watts TDP, but it can reach up to 54 watts TDP in tough situations, and it shows. And it does so without tampering with the thin chassis. It never exceeded 90 degrees Celsius, not even during Cinebench tests with all the cores going full force. Gaming related, we're talking about 70-80 degrees Celsius with the rare spikes of over 80-85 degrees. Bear in mind, if you were to run these tests on an Intel, you would already have to face throttling and 95-98 degrees Celsius. That's basically the difference. But let's be fair, the AMD CPU sports a VIP cooling system, aka metal liquid cooling, which helps reduce the heat better than any standard paste. Even Asus claimed that this method lowers the CPU temperature by up to 10 degrees, unlike a regular paste. The fact that this tiny Flow X13 is actually on par with the high-end desktop replacements we tested last year is simply amazing. We are witnessing the downfall of a monster generation. Ryzen 9 5900HS is on par with i9 9980K without exceeding 90 degrees Celsius and without making the laptop go past 45-46 decibels. Our tests included Cinebench followed by intense gaming sessions in Metro Exodus, so we were able to record 43-44 degrees Celsius on the keyboard and 50 degrees Celsius above it. On top of that, the rest pad is cool. No, literally cool. This one features an 115 watts TDP and did an amazing job. RTX 3070 is almost as powerful as its 3080 sibling, and it delivered this strength all across the games we've run. I mean, just look at the charts. The moment you crank up RTX Ultra and DLSS quality in Watch Dogs Legion and scoring such nice FPS, you feel as if you're witnessing the strength of a titan. Personally, I say the use of an eGPU is a wise idea, and ROG Flow X13 manages to take care of the rather dangerous weapon prone to overheating, aka an 100 watts TDP GPU. All in all, it never went past 75 degrees Celsius during long gaming sessions. And that's something. After all, the brick can be placed in such a way that you won't face XG Mobile's blow fan. Even though the short and thick wire might ruin your plans, you can still game in peace without having to use headphones. And that's a luxury nowadays, especially when we're talking about an ultra-portable laptop. For its average capacity rather big, taking the small chassis into account, the 62 Wh battery packed some serious juice, way better than the average laptop battery. You might very well suggest it for business scenarios, but not including B2B and enterprise, since they require a different approach. Apart from that, ROG Flow X13 is a great aid in home office and traveling scenarios. In addition, it features fast charging technology, so the battery gets from 0% to 50% in just 30 minutes by using a 100-watt USB Type-C charger provided. At the end of the day, ROG Flow X13 is a nice and interesting option for those seeking both entertainment and portability during work hours. And you can, of course, pack the XG Mobile GPU as well. I mean, come on, it only weighs 1 kilogram. It's not like you're carrying those old school bricks around anymore. Thanks for watching, and if you were interested or even enjoyed this video, please reward our work and subscribe to our teeny tiny channel. See you soon.